I think we have what we need now. Yeah, so we can make ourselves an extractor. Now, as you can see, this wire is kind of in the way, and we can't put a machine over here because it wouldn't be able to connect. So what we can do is we can dig out a little area in the floor and put wires underneath. This way, we can put one over here and over here. We put an extractor there. In fact, we can actually put one over here as well if we really wanted to. Unfortunately, we have run out of coal. That is a bit of a problem. This is now running out of fuel and will eventually stop. But the extractor, so if we put rubber wood in there, we will be able to get more rubber out of that. The biggest problem we have at the moment though is in fact coal. So we do need more coal, but that is fine. So as you can see, we now have a generator which generates power through these cables. We have a macerator which turns iron we have into iron dust, which is then put into the furnace to make iron. And we have an extractor which turns rubber wood and sticky resin into regular rubber. But it gives us more rubber per resin, that's why it'd be worth using. Now, we do need to quickly go and get ourselves a bit more coal, because it has run out. This is going to be dangerous. There we go. Is this uranium? Oh, it's a bit of uranium down there, interesting. But yeah, so there's some coal up here and a bit of copper as well, actually. We do need quite a lot of coal, though. This is one big problem with the machines, is they take up a lot of fuel. So at the beginning, you only really want to use them if you know you'll need them. Or if you just have a bunch of coal lying around, like we do here. Which is fine, because not only does it give us experience, what we could use later on, but it's also all over the place, so we don't need to worry about it. And in the process of doing this, we get double the ores of pretty much anything. The only thing it doesn't really work on is stuff like diamonds and redstone, lapis. The reason why is because when you mine them, they turn into their non-ore form anyway, which of course is a problem because it means you don't have the ore to put in there. Now there is a way around that. If we have like a silk touch pickaxe or something, but we probably won't have one of those for a good while, if ever. So that doesn't matter. And besides, eventually we'll get to the point where we find a bunch of diamonds anyway, so it isn't that big of a problem. Now we do have 18. Yeah, that should be enough for now. Let's head back up. Oh, we do need a bit more cobblestone. This is a very dangerous cave. We probably shouldn't be down here too long. There we go. Oh, a few rubber trees have grown. In fact, this is the same one, isn't it? Yeah, and it's already regrown its rubber. Very nice. So, in fact, we probably should just get rid of the rubber wood and put the sticky resin in there first, but regardless, there we go. Put the coal in there. That will start generating power. As you can see, it's going up in the macerator and in the extractor. Hopefully. Yes. Got a redstone in there, rubber wood, copper, basically everything we won't be needing at the moment. Take the iron out. So yeah, we have pretty much all of our basic machines at the moment. The biggest problem, of course, being coal. Now, there is actually a way of dealing with that. So, of course, mining is oftentimes very tiresome. You will be spending a very large amount of time just looking around aimlessly for nothing, really. Well, there is actually a way of fixing that. So if we find ourselves a divining rod. So there are 3 different tiers. We have a low, a medium, and a high. Now, at the moment, we only really need a low, which is a bunch of cobblestone and 1 charcoal, which in order to get charcoal, we need to smelt up a block of wood, which luckily we have here. It only works on wood, it doesn't work on planks. I'm not entirely sure why we need charcoal and not regular coal, but we do. We can then use an iron ingot and a redstone to make medium railings dust, which actually we'll do now. We need 1 redstone, and we have iron on us ready. And there we go, medium surveillance dust. Oh, okay, so that turns it into jungle wood, and from there, then we turn it into charcoal. Interesting. Meanwhile, we have a bunch more crushed ore. We can turn that into more iron. We have a rubber now finished, which we can put in the chest. We have 12, which is enough for 2 more machines, I believe. And we have our charcoal, which if we can get ourselves more cobblestone, combine the two, and we get our low covalence dust. So if we put our 8 low covalence dust around a stick, we will get our divining rod low, which effectively means in a 3 block wide area around it, it will tell us the value of ores. However, 3 blocks isn't very far, and it's not really worth having that alone. If we turn this into a medium one, however, this will give us 16 blocks away, I believe. So as you can see, it will just tell you the EMC value around stuff, and how EMC works. How EMC works is that it will just tell you how much an item is worth. So if, for example, I were to right click a tree, the EMC value is 32. That's because wooden logs have a lot of EMC, whereas if I were to right click a dirt block, it will say max EMC value 1. There we go. So this has turned it to a 16 by 3 by 3 mode. What this means is it will show me further away. So as you can see, if I right click down, it will say max EMC 256. If I were to right click a tree, of course it will only tell us 32 because it's a tree. But this is really useful. What this lets us do is it lets us find effectively whatever we're looking for in that specific area. And there is actually one above this as well, which means we can get an even better one. What we should do actually, we should look for diamonds this episode, I reckon. There we go. So we got ourselves an iron pickaxe. That allows us to mine, first of all, it allows us to mine this, which is uranium. But more importantly, diamonds. So if we look around, the EMC values will tell us sort of how worth things are. Of course, we are fairly high up, so we don't really get too much. So if we mine down a little bit, we can eventually find the point where we will actually be able to find diamonds, and then from there, there's a bunch of different things we can make. This iron? Yes, it is. There we go. I believe this is marble, if I'm not mistaken. Marble is, it's a pretty nice looking material, but for the most part it's just under the stone block, so we don't really need to worry about it too much. Let's just quickly look around, see if we can find anything. Nope. So 256 I think is coal and 512 is iron, unless I'm mistaken. If you hover over it, you can see values. Oh no, iron ore is 512 and tin is 256. Coal is 128, which means 4 coal is the same value of 1 iron, which will be useful later on when we have what we need to actually turn them into each other. But we can't do that at the moment, unfortunately. Oh, we found a bit more iron. So soon we'll be approaching what is diamond layer, effectively. Diamond layer would be where we find a bunch of diamonds. Up here it's too high. Anything yet? Ooh, 2048. Okay, this one's useful. So, 2048, I believe, is gold. So, what that means is if we mine in this direction for a while, eventually, we should find... Oh, it's a bit dark. Should find gold, hopefully. Oh, 1 minute. 4,096, even better. So I believe this is uranium. One moment. Well, maybe not. Uranium doesn't have an EMC value. Well, let's mine a bit of redstone while we're here. We do need a bit more. And also, redstone's quite good for EMC, which means we can just, you know, turn it into other things if we don't need it anyway. 4,096. I'm not actually sure what that is. This is Nikolai, I believe. No, Tesla tie even, which is fairly similar. We will need it eventually, but not at the moment. Oh, there it is. So, gold. Oh, is there only one? So no, there's two. Okay. Oh, there's actually three. There's three. Okay, fine. So if we right click at below us, we can see 4,096. We can not see diamonds though. So if we keep mining down, eventually we'll reach bedrock layer. And the reason that's useful is because from there we can know we're pretty much at diamond layer, which is where we'll find a bunch of it. Of course that's useful because that's what we're looking for. There's also a bunch of coal. We will need to take all of this. I heavily underestimated how much coal we will need earlier. We need a lot of it. Machines chew through it. Now there are, as I've mentioned... Oh, we're at bedrock layer, okay. There are other methods of getting coal. Not coal, even power. Without coal, or with coal potentially. The main one I like to use is solar panels. The reason why is because they actually generate a fair bit. And all you really have to do is kind of just leave them there. Now, obviously the problem is they only work at daytime because that's how solar panels work. They use energy from the sun. However, if we use something called a bat box, it will store all of the power we have so that if we're making more power than we're using at daytime, at nighttime, we will have power left over to use for whatever we need it for. Oh, we have unfortunately not actually found any diamonds, so if we mine a little bit, eventually what we can do is we can right click everywhere with the divining rod, and it will tell us all of the EMC values around us. And